Our first guest tonight is the top aide to Vice President Mike Pence, who's leading, of course, the president's China virus task force. Joining us tonight is Mark Short. He's Chief of Staff to Vice President Mike Pence. And Mark, great to have you with us. This is quite a day. The Birx, the president's, one of his chief aides on health care here in the Corona Task Force, making it clear that there are a number of antivirals that are showing great promise, and that hasn't gotten a lot of attention, I don't believe, in the media today. What can you tell us?
Well, Lou, thanks for having me on tonight. I think that the president's going to have more announcements on that tomorrow when he joins with the FDA commissioner to talk about progress with therapeutics. I think we all know sort of the challenges of getting to the full vaccination that we're very confident we'll have within 12 to 18 months. But there should be therapeutics on the market by the summer, meaning products that can relieve the symptoms. And in many cases, coronavirus, it's not so much the infection itself, it's what it leads to in other respiratory ailments. So having therapeutics on the market will really be beneficial to the patients of this virus.
Very encouraging that Dr. Birx is warning today, letting us know that chloroquine and remdesivir, two drugs, along with Kaletra, I believe it is, showing that promise. So as we await that vaccine, which is moving at breakneck speed, we also have good news on therapeutics already. U.S. hospitals running out of medical supplies. We have heard a lot of complaints here about an inadequate supply, particularly the respirator mask. And the president addressed that today, but we don't have a sense, right now, at least I don't, as to how soon that shortage is going to be closed.
Well, Lou, I think there's actually several components of this of what the administration is doing. As you've seen the president, he has leaned in and asked the private sector to help solve some of these problems as well, and also partner with medical associations. As you mentioned in your lead-in, he met today with doctors, and doctors in the American Medical Association said in many cases they have a large number of masks that can be put on the market now and provided to other doctors, but they need a little bit of change in some of the FDA regulations. As you've seen, the FDA commissioner's been working terrifically with this administration, helping to free up some of the regulatory burden as soon as possible. So we're excited by that. You also saw today Secretary Esper from the Department of Defense at the podium with the president. There are a lot of masks that they have that they're making sure is coming out of defense supply to get out to hospitals across the country right now. And lastly, what I'd tell you, is that a few weeks ago, the vice president took a trip to 3M manufacturing in Minnesota. That is one of the primary producers of that. And what we had learned at that time, candidly, is usually when you have a crisis of this nature, there are certain liability protections and waivers given. But the Democrats, as they were moving through legislation, wanted to protect the trial lawyers and didn't want to give those protections in the first bill that went through for protection. So actually, the vice president worked with several Democrat governors who leaned on Democrats in Congress, and it was included in the most recent bill that went through on the supplemental. So that as well as another legislative fix. We're hoping to get many more masks on the market with those various ways we're solving it.
And the bureaucracy is what it is. This is government. We're all faced with it. You have to work with it every day. I get to observe it from afar. Your sense about how willing the bureaucracy is to turn to and to move ahead in this crisis. We're starting to see Democrats move toward the president. Are we starting to see the bureaucrats understand that this is a time for action, as the president has, he has demanded it since the onset of this crisis?
Yes, Lou, and I think what's one of the most heartening things is that the president and the vice president have called on the American people to come together, and it's not just in a bipartisan fashion here in D.C. It's actually, you're seeing churches lean in. You're seeing the private sector come in and say, how can we be helpful? How can we help work with FedEx to get more supplies here? How is Amazon contributing a lot of the masks that they have in storage? How are we all coming together to help solve the problems, and in many cases solve one of the problems with testing that we initially had? And so I think you've actually seen an enormous American spirit that I think gives us enormous confidence that we will steer through this. And I think that, we also look at what the timetable is for this, Lou. What we've seen with the virus overseas is typically about an 8 to 10 week bell curve. Some of the data we've seen coming out of Korea suggests it was about a 6-week outbreak there. So We know that this is something that we're asking all Americans to come together and follow the guidelines that Donald Trump put out, and we know there are inconveniences and sacrifices there, but that's all intended to lower how high that curve is, the number of infections, and also shorten the distance of how long this outbreak is going to last. And we're very encouraged the way Americans are coming together.
Well, it is encouraging to watch this, where we began this crisis with more unknowns than at any time in our history. A natural disaster with this many unknowns and this severe a threat. I think the progress has been remarkable. And thank you for all you, the Vice President, of course, and the President, the entire administration are doing. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Mark. Mark Short.